press conference yesterday, and the notion of using economic force to annex Canada, blah blah blah. Also, if you didn't know, his kid Donald Jr. was in Greenland recently, and he's also made remarks about taking Greenland away from Denmark. I think there's a lot of tongue in cheek in that, but I also like the idea. I said on Twitter this morning, I said, "Hear me out. The United States annexes Canada and Greenland, sends all the woke liberal socialists to Greenland. They lose voting rights, and they're looked after over there. They can get all their free social programs. They just have to where it's cold. Canada joins the United States, and we move forward to the New World Order. I would love the lower tax rates. I would love more personal freedom. I would love to move somewhere where the weather is not cold 5 months of the year. I don't know if you can see the amount of light that's coming through my window, but it's one of those like bright sunny days in Toronto. And when you get a bright sunny day in Toronto, it's like minus 20 out Celsius. It's freezing cold. So there's a lot of benefits that I see. But coming back to the notion of Canada, fixing Canada, I don't think the government here is going to say, "Yo, Trump, just come on in." I've mentioned this before. He's going to have to walk in with the military and say, "You guys have fucked it up. We're going to take over now." And I don't think there would be much of a conflict or much of a resistance. Canada's really not built to deal with something like that. And that's the way that it would have to be done. But whether it happens or not, I don't know. And I don't really care at this point. The point of this podcast is really to talk about Trudeau, the mess the federal government has created, and why I think Pierre Poilievre, a conservative leader, isn't going to fix much at all. I don't think he's weak. He's better than Trudeau, but I can put it to you this way. Things will just stop getting worse under a conservative government. They're not going to get any better. They're just going to stop getting worse, I think, at best. At worst, they'll probably just keep getting worse, just not at the same rate, if I can put it that way. So, where can I start, man? I got so many tabs open over here. I'll get to my Excel spreadsheet in a bit because I sort of put all the information in one spot. But there was here we go. So I found the 2024 budget for the federal government online. And by the way, AI, Grok, all the other AI platforms, they don't do a very good job of finding this information and organizing it and presenting it in a useful manner, if I can be honest. And I pay for the premium account on Twitter X, so I should get the better service with the use of Grok AI, but it doesn't seem to work out that way. So here we go. So this is the Canadian federal published budget for 2024. You can see the cover there with diversity being our strength. Fairness for every generation was a slogan for 2024. And there's your table of contents. Now, I don't know if you can see up here, but it's 430 pages of smoke and mirrors. I did searches along the lines of show me a list of Canadian federal government expenses itemized by category. I can go to my QuickBooks and I can very easily present up on the screen expenses, rent, client meals, entertainment, fuel, payroll, all this sort of stuff. Like it'll organize everything that I spend in a table and show it to me very easily. And that line item will give me the number and then a total at the bottom. And then if I wanted to see the income, I could show that in a table beside. It's just a simple income and expense report. But you can't get that from a federal government. I don't know if you can get that from any government. I haven't checked in any other country, but here in Canada, you can't get a clear answer. I get 430 pages. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. I get 430 pages of blah, blah, fucking blah, with charts and pictures and stories about inclusivity and rights of LGB transfer, blah, 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 tampons in men's bathrooms, blah, blah, blah. What is this over here? Federal funding, housing accelerating programs, blah, blah, blah. Just give me a fucking total. Just give me a total that shows me what the federal government spends on welfare programs, on refugees, on COVID vaccinations, on federal employees' payroll. Give me a fucking total. Why can't I get that? Instead, I get 430 pages of fucking bullshit. Yeah, I'm starting to get pissed off now that I've spent a few hours going through all this. So if you guys ever feel the need to slip into a coma and fall asleep for a few weeks, go search for Canadian Federal Budget 2024, and you can go and read through the 430 pages of absolute nonsense. So let me stop the screen there. I'm going to close that tab. And I've got about 58 other tabs open here because I don't know here. Let me see if I can share the screen in this sense. Entire screen window. I think this is the one. Let's see if it does this for me or not. Okay, yeah, there we go. I mean, the book's in the way, but you can see up here across the top, I got like 50 tabs open. So these are all the things that I've been looking at, searching for federal spending, allocation of funds. I even use Grok in some of these search results over here, where AI and Google was not providing useful results. Had to read a few of these studies, like, the amount of money that was spent on COVID during the scamdemic and blah, 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 blah. How much money goes to media companies, because in Canada, the federal government funds basically the state media company, which is a Canadian broadcasting corporation. So I've got some information here. So I've got something to work with. It's not accurate, but I think for the most part in this cast, I'm going to unplug you from the comfort and lies when it comes to federal income and spending, because it's quite messy. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.